Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We want to thank you for always making it to this place for our weekly press conferences. Today, we want to address the country in regard, or the president needs to address the country in regard to the injustices committed against Ugandans. Sometimes about 2 years ago, when the president was, Mr. Museveni was going to be inaugurated for the term he's serving now, there were people who were abducted. Some were released, some were thrown away, and to date there are those who are not, we can't trace them. The country can't trace them, their people can't trace them. Groupings they belong to cannot trace them. Last week, NID, led by its president, Joseph Kiza Kabuleta, petitioned the High Court. And this in regard to the people you want to call NUP activists. For us, we want to call them Ugandans. 32 of them have spent unconstitutionally, illegally, close to 1 year plus at the court martial. And to date, the court martial is still playing ping pong about their freedom. You see, this country, at least even under the most vulgarized so-called democracy that we want to associate ourselves with, we have something called the Constitution. That Constitution has a whole chapter under the Bill of Rights. There is Article 43, Article 23, Article 28, Article 50. You see, there is one on the 23 talks about the issue of fair hearing. Now, to date, the 32 people at court martial, we think that they have not, the country, both the courts, the court martial, and this government has not adhered to its own constitution that it midwife. It abducted Ugandans, civilian, under very illegal and unconstitutional charge, dumped them at the court martial. To date, we can't, or they can't benefit from the constitutional provision. The court martial itself is governed under what we call the UPDF Act. The UPDF Act has commands. It has what it says about detainees. The UPDF Act, section, I think, 192, states that anybody charged under the court martial, if he spends 90 days, not exceeding 60 days, or say 60 days to 90 days, and that person has not been convicted, that's under the court, the court martial is supposed to be released by his commanding officer. Now, these are civilians who do not have commanding officers within the army. So the court martial has kept them for 2 years because they have no commanding officer to release them. We also have the Constitution of Uganda, for which we think we are governed. We want to think so. If you have spent 90 days or to 180 days under specific categories of crime, and this one specifically under which they are being charged, these 32 you want to call NUP supporters, they are entitled to automatic bail. Now, we want to ask, and today we want to unveil to you, to tell you that NID has gone to the High Court, petitioned the High Court to intervene. And not just because these are matters of human rights, not just to intervene and listen, but grant these people automatic release as the law commands. This petition has already been, we have already secured the date, and the hearing is commencing 27th, which is a Friday this week. So we want to battle with the government. We have already served the Attorney General and all relevant. So the ground is set for this battle. But this is not just isolated to this. We want to tell the country, of course, political parties or even civic organizations are allowed to do what we call litigation advocacy. For us, this is our angle of litigation advocacy. There are so many Muslims. There is somebody who was telling me the other side, Mr. President, that when you go to CMI, time for prayers, you know Muslims pray 5 times a day, that you may think that CMI detention center is one of the mosques in this country because of the number of people who are there. Now, we also have soldiers in that same court martial. We think that even the soldiers who are detained illegally under the same disrespectful of law arrangements of Mr. Museveni and his group should also benefit from this constitutional petition that NEED has done or has lodged. We have so many people, and you are going from today onward, you will be hearing many, many more cases that we are going to be lodging, because we can't allow. You may call them supporters of A, B, C, D, but they are Ugandans who should benefit from what the law says, who must also benefit, because we should not have 2 constitutions or 2 laws, that the category of people, if we are political party activists, you are treated differently, and if you are just an ordinary thief or associated to so and so in government, you are judged differently. We must have one law, and we must respect that law. So we want to implore all of you that on 27th, those who can be in court, please come along, because this is not, President Kiza Kabuleta has taken the lead, but the case is for all Ugandans. We also want to implore all our other colleagues and also other Ugandans that if there is anything there, please let NEED know, because of our other front of litigation advocacy, which is going to be very vibrant. We have so many cases that you're going to hear about. We shall lodge them and we will let you know. At this juncture, I want to invite the lead petitioner and the president of NEED to make a statement in regard to this subject. He may also make statements in regard to others. Thank you, President.
Thank you very much. I remember when I was young, it was New Year's Eve going into 1984. I think it was December 31st, 1983. And I was staying somewhere in an estate. And I was in primary school. And people were drinking all through the night and so on. And when they got drunk, all of them started shouting, UPC, UPC. And that was okay, UPC, UPC. Then amid the story of that, the owner of the house where they were hosted said DP. And the music went silent within a short time. Within a short time, the whole party had dispersed. Everybody had run away. And that gentleman, I even remember his name, because he was a neighbor of my father's in that place, was picked the following day for just saying DP. And DP was a party in the opposition in that period. For just saying DP, he was picked, he was taken, and there was a place where they would take them, who were in Masindi, in Kinyara. There's a place where they would take them where, once you enter there, you are not coming back, because occasionally they would come and take people. I remember the one person who told us he survived. He survived because he met a soldier who told him that when they come and the bus comes and parks, or lorry, and they say they are taking you to another prison, make sure you don't board that bus, because you're going to die. So whatever you do, if you run, if they shoot you, let them shoot you, but either way you're going to die. So when they came and told them, now we are taking you to another place, he just took off and entered the forest. They shot after him. Somehow none of the bullets caught him, and he's alive today to tell the story. All the people who boarded the bus are not alive. Now, then later on, people came who apparently had fundamental change, and then they said they are here to secure the rights of people's lives and property. Now, 3 days from today, we'll be celebrating 30 years. They will be celebrating 30 years since they took control of this country. And we, on the other hand, will be acknowledging that we are worse than what we were when they were in the bush. Because at least Obote had the excuse of having bandits or terrorists who were fighting a legitimately elected government. What excuse does Museveni have to get people whose only crime was supporting NUP, which is a legitimate opposition party in the parliament, and which was a legitimate opposition party in the contest for the presidency? Now, what wrong have these people done in supporting a legitimate opposition party? Not a guerrilla movement, a legitimate party. Just like the other man who shouted DP and he was taken and he never showed up. He was never seen after that. They did not even see his body. So we are back to where we started. I'm not back actually. I think we went back around 2016. Now we are like way past where we started, because these people, let me tell you, since opposition came up and were strong, and that was about, I think, basically 2006, everything in government has been geared towards extension of Museveni's role. Every single thing, from the budget. People say that when they are reading the budget, if you want to understand how the budget is, how money is allocated, you just know there are two categories of people. There are people who can cause change of government, and there are those who cannot cause change of government. Now, those who can cause change of government, including the forces, a bit of parliament, but also the civil service, are the ones who get all the money. Now, those who come and talk, the expert talkers, those ones you can go and talk all you want, as long as Museveni has categorized you as somebody who cannot threaten his stay in power, you will cry, they will take all the money away from you. They have done that from tourism, from all these things. I was hearing the other day, National Council of Sports lamenting they have cut over 70% of their budget. They have cut 70% of tourism budget. It is all going to those categories which he says, these ones, the army, those ones you have to keep them appeased because they have the ability to hurt you. Now, if you do not have the ability to hurt, you're going nowhere. You are not going to be included in the sharing of the cake, and that is how the budget is done. But then also, there are these security people who, for the want of having a budget, actually create problems and incarcerate people just to show the old man that they are fighting. There is some, resurrection or insurrection against him. And then it comes with the budget. So now they are arresting people who are innocent. Can you imagine they arrest somebody and they say that his crime was being found with petrol? Now, petrol can be used for any number of things. For borders, for generators, for what? Now, imagine you're a border person and maybe you anticipate fuel prices are going to go up. So you get a kadomoro of petrol. Or maybe somewhere, whatever. Maybe you store it or whatever. And you keep it somewhere. And then they say you're planning to burn the city because you were found with. They were not found with guns. And they are not found with a lot of petrol. Half a liter of petrol. That is 1 mineral water bottle of small mineral water bottle of petrol. And then you're charged in the military court, in the court martial, for having half a liter of petrol. Now, that is not the worst part. The worst part is the law. There is a law that governs these things. Now, if we're a lawless state, let that be made known. That Uganda has no laws, we are a failed state. But even if you charge somebody and take them to the court martial, which in itself is a problem. Because they were not caught with something exclusive to the military. Petrol is not exclusive to the military. Anybody has the right to have petrol because it is used for so many other civilian matters now. But even if they are taken there, after 90 days, if their case is not up for hearing, if they have not been official, the case has not commenced, they are supposed to be granted automatic bail without anybody's opinion. They were arrested in May 2021. Now we are in 2023. Obviously, 3 months have passed, and they have not, they just come and they are shot there and they are taken back. And if you've been in these detention centers, you know that you don't want, even the person you hate most, you don't want him to be inside there. I'm telling you the truth. Because those places inside there, because one of the people who represents me, my lawyer, told me that he took a man away from those military detentions and took him to Chitalia through litigation and took him to a civilian prison in Chitalia. And the man said, now your work is finished even if you leave me. As long as I'm now in a civilian prison and I've left, because that place is hell. Now there are those noob supporters who are there in hell, for doing nothing. And even if they did something, bring them to court and charge them. But it's like we're a lawless state. There are no laws which apply. And you know that, people sometimes, I was arguing the other day about somebody who was sent to prison. And I said, that's a very tough sentence they got. Then, people who have not been there say, let the law take its course. You wait when you face our justice system. If you ever face it, then you will know that that thing of let the law take its course. Because there is no law taking its course. You are going to be there and you will be remanded for 1 year for something which is so small. So my issue is, first of all, 26, it's going to be a public holiday on Thursday. Some of us will be using it to mourn. Anyway, we don't have any time to mourn. We shall be organizing to remove this dictatorship. But the thing is, there is nothing. We have learned now that it was just a handful of people who wanted to take control of the country, and they have done a good job so far. And we see what their plan was. And we see how it caused chaos in every sector, absolute chaos. Now, when this guy took over, in spite of the war he was raging against an elected government as a terrorist, there were systems that worked. There were systems that worked, but now he has destroyed every system. You cannot have the economy is in shambles. The other day I was seeing investors are running away, and one of the reasons they are giving for running away is that there is no guarantee that you own the land that the law says you own. You can have land and you have all the documentation, but there is no guarantee that it's yours. How can you, come up and do some development in a piece of land when you know you have no security over it? And the security is not that you have to, maybe clear some things legally. No, everything legal has been cleared, but still, if somebody powerful wants that land, he will come and take it. So that is one of the reasons these Indians, I met an Indian who was telling me, I met him in Luzira, he was telling me, you find out all the Bahindis are running Uganda. And the reasons they gave, over taxation and our land problems. Because at the heart of every investment is land. If somebody cannot be sure that this piece of land is mine, and I have all the legal documentation, and therefore nobody is going to come and claim it, they are not going to put up any development. Now, I was seeing the other day a comedy, absolute comedy, Museveni in UAE, that wooing investors. How stupid can an investor be to come to Uganda? Uganda, the only hindrance to investors in Uganda is Museveni. Long ago, he went to Italy, and he met a group of people, very rich, people who have money to invest. And you see those people, they don't keep money in banks. They want to invest it. So he came and explained to them everything that Uganda has, and he did a good job. Some of the things we should not be proud of. He said that you can expatriate all your profits, but that's not something we should be proud of, and so many other things. And they listened to him. Then they asked him one simple question. And it was on television, so I watched it. They asked him one simple question. So tell us, what is the plan for Uganda politically after you? Now, the one thing Museveni doesn't want to hear is that there is any after him. But he's going to be there. He's not God. Now, I saw him fidgeting in his chair. And they just wanted to ask, because they said, we are convinced Uganda is a good place to invest. But now what happens after you've gone? Then he told them, you trust me. Everything will be fine. You trust me. I saw the Bazungu looking at each other like this. They look at each other. Then they said, okay. Not a single one of them came here. Because the one thing, they are not going to come to here when we have neighbors who have peaceful exchange of power. And an election, which happens when the businesses are going on. And one president jumps off and another comes on and business is going on. Why would they come here? The biggest hindrance is Museveni and his life presidency project. So now it's comedy. So he takes some of these people whom he has given patronage. And then the guy is saying, I've built $1 billion company here. Who are you kidding? And I even saw the Arabs looking at the guy, and it does not look like $1 billion. So anyway, my point is, is dead. People are running out. Can you imagine something as simple as proper land laws? If you have a piece of land, let it be yours. It's documented as yours. But now imagine you want to put up a building. Then also the issue they gave is court cases which take forever. Because if somebody comes and challenges your piece of land and you go to court, that's 10 years. Imagine you have money to invest. Who is going to be here waiting 10 years for that? The whole confusion, now he's wasting taxpayers' money going to woo investors. How can you woo somebody to come to hell? So, investment hell. So my issue is this. 37 years on. We were hoodwinked, we were fooled, we were conned. We find ourselves in a very tough spot. But we as Ugandans have to fight back. Okay? Because I see now they have started. We have to fight back by them. Because what disappoints me the most is when I see so many people who are discouraged, despondent, and they are not interested. You guys, you do your things. Somebody asked me, but I see you all the time on your press. He watches all these press conferences. Then he tells me, but he asked me, but how do you keep yourself motivated? Because as far as he's concerned, this is a wild goose chase. We are wasting our time as far as you're concerned. But okay, it's good what you're doing, and we always should. But how do you keep yourself motivated? And I laughed. I said that, you know what? Because he said that there is not going to be, you will talk and say all the things, there's not going to be any change. There is going to be a change. If I did not believe that, I would not be talking these things. So, we are going to not only, by the way, put in a production warrant to have those 32, especially the 32 we are focusing on, NUP supporters, 31 men and one woman, to be produced in court immediately. And we expect that if there is any rule of law in Uganda, they should be, because that's the law, they should be brought in court, and then it's hard. If we are a lawless state, let that be known. Sometimes we do these things so that the whole world, so that we don't fool ourselves that we are a country which has laws. Yet actually, we are a law unto ourselves. So you put the thing there and say, if we have any laws in this country, then these are the laws which should apply. Because you see, I've been in some of those places of theirs. It is not easy in there. And I can't tell you that I was given the worst treatment. I don't know why. Maybe somehow. But the thing is, I saw things which happened there. And you can shudder. You just see with your eyes. Have you ever seen something and you feel pain by just looking at it? Now, if there is anybody who is in that place who does not deserve to be there, we want them out of that place. First of all, they charged me under the Computer Misuse Act, which was even repealed. Is that the right word? Was this repealed recently? Now, that the case is still there at DPP, they have still not disposed of it. So I'm going to go there and tell them now there is no law. So just because they took my computer, my bank checkbooks, whatever, those people. When they come to your office, they just clear everything. They are thugs. They They just clear and they take everything. They will never give it to you back. Everything they take. I had books which I was writing on my laptop, and some hadn't backed it up because I'm not a tech-savvy person. So I lost all that material because somebody was annoyed that I had written something about him. Anyway, for us, we are going to fight for the rights of everybody who is wrongly incarcerated and who has a right to be out, who has a right to be free, and who has a right to be tried from outside. Because it's not fun in there. And you should not wish anybody to go in there. You know, some people who have not been there, I saw a gentleman who was a data. So he was taken there, you know these datas. So the extent of his liability was 70 million. The man had paid 67 million. Then he paid 68 million. Then he paid 69 million. And now he's putting all resources he can to just reach the 70 million mark, and he comes out. But the guy whom he was, his creditor, said, until you finish, I'm not letting you out. And then you look at the life the guy is going through inside there. You say, if they, people are heartless, by the way, I think everybody maybe should go a bit inside there. So that next time when you wish it on somebody, you know what you're wishing them, wishing for them. Because it's not easy inside there. Even 1 week changes your life forever. 1 week in those places. And now I've been in the unofficial ones and then the official jail. But even these people have been there. Haven't you been there? It has been 1 week. You come out when you've started. You've taken on a whole new, perspective to life. Totally different. Anyway, that's what I had to say. Thank you very much. Yes. First of all, they get a lot of money from government. Number one. Number two, the only human right they know is homosexuality. You touch a homosexual and you see how Uganda Human Rights Commission are going to jump up. That's the only human right they know. So they are useless. They are absolutely useless. I heard the chairperson speaking the other day and saying how we are just politicking. I mean, this is politics. When somebody says you're politicking, all our lives is politics. Economy is politics. Abuse of human rights is politics. Now, what does that person have to say about people who have been in prison close to 2 years, yet the law says if they have not been charged in 30 days, they are granted automatically. That's what the law says. And those are the people, the NUP supporters are not the ones who came up with the law. The law is there. So they are entitled to be treated fairly according to that law. Show up, there is a whole bench of soldiers, none of whom has studied law. They know as much law as I do. Line up like this. And then they send them back. So that's why we went to High Court, saying High Court should impose it. Because High Court knows the laws. Should impose it on the court martial that these people are supposed to be set free according to the laws of this country. If we still have any laws, that is. If we have become a lawless state, a failed state, let that also be known. Now you want me to get into airport stories. But let me tell you, first of all, there's, when you have somebody at the top abusing power, the effect is that everybody who has a small office under also feels the right to assume, supreme authority. Because they are copying it from the person at the top. So you find people in all the government departments and so on. You go to URA, you find people who are completely kings. They are monarchs. you can't say anything to them. You go to all these other bitongole, and it's the same thing. And where do they copy it from? From the person at the top. So anybody whom you give a small office also grows big, and then he will make you miss a flight and so on. And I've been seeing those things. In fairness, okay, I've been listening to people's testimonies, and it's shocking. You go to police and you see how policemen can grow big, like everybody feels where there is no reason. You can't even sit down and reason with somebody and say, this and that. No, nothing. Somebody sits and is a king. Where do they get it from? From the person at the top. That's why for me I prefer to go for the top. Okay? Because fish rots from the head. So when the Bible says you strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. So now we want to go and strike the shepherd of all corrupt people, the shepherd of all megalomaniacs, shepherd of all abusers of power, who is Museveni. Now all the others under him will take off if we strike the top. I'm not interested in these small battles where they took. Okay, I understand it's whatever. But right now, I'm more interested in people who are being locked up without any due, regard for the laws of this country. But then, as I said, if there are no laws, let us also know. And we know that we have no laws in Uganda, period. But if there are laws, these people should come out of prison right now. Okay. Anyway, mubadde mwogera ku nsonga kansooke neeyo oli mwami Magala ey'okubanga ba investor bangi badduka mu ggwanga olw'okuba ensonga ezimu ze baawadde, kubanga njogeddeko n'abamu ku bo, by the way. Ensonga ezimu ze bawa, ekisookera ddala ensonga y'ettaka. Omuntu akugamba nti ne bwogenda n'ofuna ettaka, ne bw'oba ofunye liizi, ne bw'oba oliguze buguzi, n'oba nga oyina ebiwandiiko byonna ebiraga nti eryo ettaka liryo, ekyo tekigaana muntu mulala kujja n'aliteekako akavuyo, ate we mugenda mu kooti n'etwala emyaka 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Kati bagamba nti bw'oba toyina bumativu oba toyina assurance ku ttaka nti liryo, toyina kyogenda kukolerako kyamaanyi, because investment yonna mu mawanga gonna etambulira ku kintu kimu, ttaka. Omuntu bw'ajja n'amanya nti nina ettaka lyange oba nina liizi ya myaka 99, awo atandika okukola investments, oba okuzimbako, oba okukola ki, oba okuzimba hoteri nga alina obukakafu nti ettaka lirye. Naye abasinga bagamba nti tobeera mu Uganda, tosobola kubeera na bukakafu nti ettaka liryo, ne biba nga liryo, ne biba nga ebintu byonna ebisaanyizo byonna obiina, tobeera na bukakafu nti ettaka liryo. Wabeerawo munene yenna alyagala asobola okujja n'atondawo akavuyo. Kati mu kavuyo ako omaze okuzimba ekizimbe ekyo. Goma kyekitegeza okuzimba ekizimbe nga tolina bukakafu nti ettaka liryo, nga n'amateeka sigankalakkalira nti kati tewali ayinza kunkwatako wano, n'olwekyo kanteekewo ekintu kye njagala okuteeka investment. Kati ensonga emu gye baawa, ensonga ey'okubiri URA. Baga nti URA ogenda n'oregisteringa. Bo emisolo tebagigerekera ku profit. Bajja buzi ne baga nti gino gye tugereka. Kakati for instance bayigiridde bano sikuyingirira, bagenze mu bano ab'ebivvulu. Kati ebivvulu ebyo bangi bakola loss. Kati ate URA erina okutakisinga amagoba. Ne bo bakwatira wano tebategeera nti oba ekisaawe wakisasudde ssente beka, tebategeera nti oba omuyimbi ayimba wabisasudde ssente beka, ebyuma bisasudde ssente meka, lighting wakisasudde ssente meka. Kati awo singa bw'obanga okoze amagoba, awo balina okujja ne bakujjako omusolo. Ne bo bajjira wano ku mulyango, bakubira tiketi. Naye ng'ate ku mulyango expenses zonna ze wafunye ng'otegeka ekivulo ekyo teri ayagala zimanya naye nga proper taxation emisolo gyennyini olina okubalirira ebintu ebirala omuntu byataddemu noga kati wataddemu ssente bwe ziti okoze bwe ziti okoze amagoba bwe gati kati leeta omusolo gwaffe ku magoba so kati awo wagenda okubeera kati ojja kulanga tewali bivulo because aba URA baabateeka ku nninga okuŋŋaanya trillioni 25 ndoza n'ekitundu n'obutundutundu 6 kati balumba buli kimu kyonna ate tebalina creativity bo bamala galuma ne baga gwe tukongeza kati buli industry yonna bagenda giyigirira bagitte kati ba investor bonna kati badduka bagamba nti ozeo investinze amagoba gonna galina kubeera ku emisolo girina kubeera ku magoba. Banks ziri affected kubanga URA banks nazo zikayana nayogeddeko n'aba bank URA egenda bugenzi ku banka nejjayo sente nti zino za misolo naye ng'abantu tebagirayo sente emisolo bagisasula dda kakati abantu tebakyatwala sente mu banka ne banka nazo ojja kuwulira eno naye yafulumye mu Uganda eri naye yafulumye mu Uganda kati kuga eggwanga tunalirinda lituukewa kuba buli kimu kyonna kigootaanye kati nalabye Katemba juzi nga Museveni ali United Arab Emirates Dubai nti anoonya ba investor kyasobola okujja wano mu Uganda nga n'abaliwo badduka boyina badduka kati gonoonya basooka ate tebawuliriza ebyo oli simanyi hamu Kigundu n'agala simanyi ayina $billion biki tebawuliriza mandaazi ago bawuliriza ba investor bennyini ababaddeyo abatali bannayuganda because ono bamanya as the president kati basooka ne babuuza ba investor abaliwo because kati waliwo abadduka wano bagenda Dubai nti bagenda okutwala sente kati ate gwogeze Dubai oga investor bajje mu Uganda bano basooka kubuuzaana abadduka mu Uganda muddukayo ki nti eri yadde ettaka tosobola kumanya nti liryo ne bw'oba olisasudde n'okola ebisaanyizo byonna. Ekyokubiri emisolo bamala gagereka bafa gagereka. Ekyokusatu kye baayogedde ate kino kyamaanyi nnyo bagambye nti Ugandans no longer have purchasing power nti bw'oteeka wano bizinesi yo bannayuganda tebakyalina ssente zisobola kugula bintu byogenda kubanga otunda oba otaddewo woteere abantu tebalina ssente kati ojja kugenda ozimba woteeri yo ng'ogenda gisulamu weka because tewali alina ssente zijja muguli kati baagambye nti purchasing power y'abannayuganda eri wansi nnyo kati kizibu okuteeka wano investment n'ojjamu amagoba ze ensonga esatu ze baawadde esooka ya ttaka ekyo kikulu nnyo ekyokubiri ya misolo ekyokusatu abantu tebakyalina ssente because omuntu ainvestinga ne bw'oteekawo ka restaurant ko omanya nti waliwo abantu abasobola okugulawo emmere naye abantu baba tebalina ssente restaurant oba oteekawo yabwerere so ensonga ezo esatu so n'olw'ensonga eyo kino nakyo kankyogere ekisingira ddala bainvestinga mu Uganda ensonga esingira ddala bagiyita Museveni kubanga nalaba lumu yali ku TV n'agenda mu Italy nzijukira ndoza yali mu oba Milan ndoza bwe mazijukidde bulungi yali mu Milan n'agenda n'ayogera ne ba investors basajja bazungu balina ssente obalaba balina ssente zaabwe banoonya we baziteeka n'abamatiza Uganda nsi nnungi buli kimu kisobola okukola buli ki n'amala okwogera byonna n'abyogera n'abimala nola nti abasajja bamativu kati baleka bamubuuza omu yamubuuza ekibuuzo kimu n'amugamba nti kati tubiwulidde byonna naye pulaani ki gy'olina ggwe ng'ovudde ku buyinza nendyoka nabo omusajja bwe yeekyusiza mu ntebe bw'ati n'atandika okufugitingira mu ntebe ne yeekyusa bwe yeesika n'agamba nti nze mbasaba kintu kimu munneesige bwe naaba nvudde mu buyinza nina pulaani ne bagamba wangi nti nze munneesige n'agamba wangi oli akwate miliyoni za dola meka aziteeke nti yeesize omuntu ayiza okufa enkya bamutunuulira bati nagenda okulaba abazungu beetunuulira bati tewali yadde n'omu yajja wano kati tewali ensi zitwetoolodde wano abantu bava mu buyinza omulala naddako bizinesi teziyimiridde buli kimu kitambula alaali kati abainvesta bakwate ssente zaabwe bazireete wano mu Uganda mu bino ebizibu bye tulina first of all tulina okusooka okutereeza ekintu kya politics omuntu n'amanya nti wemba ntaddeyo ssente zange politics ebintu by'obufuzi ebigenda kujjingirira ab'ebyobufuzi bakole ebyabwe ffe abakola ssente tukole ebyaffe nga bwe kyali wano mu ggwanga ly'e Kenya nga bw'ogendayo mu kalulu wakati nenga bizinesi zitambula bulungi abakola ssente bo bali bannabyabufuzi bakola ebyabwe tetukola ssente nga tewali kiyimiridde buli kimu kitambula akalulu ne kaggwa omukulembeze omulala najja ne bagenda mu maaso kati awo investor amanya nti ali ku sure deal kuba noono naye bwana agenda omulala ajja kudda nga tewali ayokyeza kibuga tewali akoze eki tewali majje gayingidde kibuga nakola ki ebyo abantu bwe babiraba investor atunula n'agamba kikyenye olaba n'omuntu omu tourism yaŋŋamba nti omanyi bakolagana ne bano abana Kenya omuntu bw'ajja ng'azze e Kenya omulambuzi kati n'afuna kampuni ey'e Kenya kati bakwatagana n'eza Uganda omulambuzi bw'aba alina by'ayagala okulaba mu Uganda ebitali Kenya kati bakwatagana n'eza wano kati oli yavaayo n'agamba nti ensi yammwe emboofu buli abalambuzi buli olutunulayo bw'ati alaba bintu bibi mwe mulina agalwadde mwe mulina ki n'agaa kati tukyakolagana nammwe kuba omulambuzi ayinza n'okukansolinga trip yonna kubanga yadde ataddeko Uganda kati ate muli awo agenda okulaba amagye gayiise mu kibuga kati n'agamba nti trip ngisazizaamu kaŋŋende ewalala kati ne batandika n'obbasalako ne bana batu operators baffe olw'ensonga eyo nti tujja kuteekako nti ajja kujja alaba amaziko eri kati ajje yetegese okujja abeeko ne byalaba e Kenya ajjeko ne Uganda awulire nti Uganda yagootanya amagye gayiise agabi byonna mbisazizaamu sikyazze ne Kenya kati batandika nabo basalako so business zonna zitambulira ku politics bwe tunaatereeza ebyobufuzi ojja kulanga ne business zitambula n'ebyobufuzi nga tukyaliwe tuli wano neffe kye tuvayo tugamba naye tuveeyo twerwaneko ebyobufuzi kubanga lino eggwanga lyaffe liyinza okugenda liti nerigenderera nerifa bwe lityo naye tetujja ddikkiriza kaakati bannaffe bano abawagizi ba NUP ababadde abaasibwa mu mwaka gw'okutaano omwezi ogw'okutaano omwaka ogwa 2021 nga bagaa nti baagala kulemesa Museveni okulayira abo be twagalira ddala okusooka kuba twataddeyo omusango mu kkooti nga tugamba nti etteeka ligamba emyezi bwe giyitawo 3 ennaku 9 nga omusango gwabwe tegunnatandika balina kuweebwa beyiro ali automatic balina kubata babayimbule baveeyo oba babawozesa bava bweru naye nga ennaku ezo zaggwako dda bamazeyo kati myaka mu gwokutaano tujja kuba tuwezeza emyaka 2 mwaka gumu atisi n'ekitundu bakyali eyo teri akyogera kati ng'etteeka lyalambikibwa bulungi nnyo katwagala okutegeera bwe tuba nga tukyali mu nsi eyina amateeka abaana abo baveeyo babate bwe tuba nga tuli mu nsi etalina mateeka ekyo nakyo tukitegeere nti Uganda tetukyalina mateeka tuli failed state twalemwa kati tutambulira ku kigambo kya mukulembeze tulinga bwakabaka okay so kati ekyo nakyo tukitegeere kubanga waliyo n'abajaasi abalala bane kuba n'abawagizi ba NUP n'abajaasi abalala babeera mu court martial mwaka gumu 2 ninga ate etteeka weeriri balina kubanga babata baagala okusigala nga bateekewo etteeka eddala naye nga teririiwo so abantu abo bali held illegally kati twagala baveeyo n'abalala bonna abadde basibiddwa ennaku zaabwe 9 zaggwako dda baveeyo omanye ekintu ekyo bw'oba waliwo kibaddemu omanya nti gye bali ebintu si birungi n'akatono ekyo kyo nkikukakasa ebintu si birungi n'akatono ebintu ebigenda mu maaso omu ku balooya bange yaŋŋamba nti yajja omusajja mu detention ye ya CMI n'amutwala ekitalya mu kkomera lino ery'aba civilian omusajja n'amugaa kati omulimu gwo guwedde kondeese wano ne bw'otoddamu kukola kintu kirala kyonna kubanga eri embeera mbi nnyo at least wano omanya ojja kubeerawo oli akawunga okole ki naye nga eri mbeera mbi nnyo okutulugunyizibwa kuyitirivu kati ate kuba waliwo abantu abatondawo embeera lwakuba baagala kufuna ssente mu gavumenti batondawo embeera nti kati waliwo obuyekero buliwo waliwo kiki naye nga banoonya ssente banoonya budget kati ate bamanyi omukulembeze w'eggwanga buli kyoleeta ekibanga ekyekuusa ku waliwo ayagala okujja mu buyinza ne bw'oba oyagala ssente meka ajja zikuwa musabe ez'abalwadde olabe oba ez'amasomero naye mugambe nti waliwo ajja kusumulula ssente kati ekyo bakimanyi kati nabo bakola kye basobola okukola kyonna okutondawo embeera basobole okusigala nga bafuna ssente so n'olw'ensonga eyo twagala bano abaana baveeyo bayimbulwe kati ate n'ensonga eno kuba mu nnaku 3 tujja kuba abantu abamu abeetwalira obuyinza mu mwaka gwa 1986 bajja kuba bajaguza, naye kati abo balubatu ndooza tebajja yadde mu kisenge kimu. Abajja okubanga bajaguza ebyaddala tebasobola kufiitinga yadde mu kisenge ekimu. Basobola okufiitinga mu kisenge ekimu kiti, kubanga ati bannayuganda abasigadde tukimanyi nti batukumpanya ne batuliibaliiba ne batusendasenda. Kati wano we tuli tetukyamanyi we tuli, twerwanako bwerwanyi. So kati olunaku lujja kubeera lwa kkungubaga olwa 26 January myaka 37 egy'okkungubaga. Ekisooka 5 twali tukyalinamu essuubi, maybe ne 10 nga tukyalinamu essuubi. Twagenda okuzuukuka ng'omusajja buli kimu yakyeddiza. Naye kye tulina okuyiga mu gino emyaka 37 egya Museveni, kinakyo kikulu. Temuddamu kwesiga mukulembeze yenna. Kubanga Museveni twamwesiga emyaka egy'ekkumi, kumbe yeddiza amagye, yeddiza ssente, yeddiza buli kimu. Sisitimu zonna azikwata aziteeka mu ngalo mpola. Twagenda okuzuukuka nti kati omusajja atutabye tumuggyeko nga tetukyasobola, nga buli kimu yakyeddiza lwakuba twamwesiga nnyo. Kati tugenda kuddamu kwesiga mukulembeze yenna. Yensonga lwaki tuteekawo institutions bino ebitongole ebirala ebisobola omukwatako, ebisobola omuteeka okumukomako ng'agenza alina gy'alaga. Kati ate ne bano nekino ekirala bano nga bibadde mwogerako aba airport. Omanyi kyendabye wano mu gavumenti ya Museveni, olw'okuba buli omu ayigira ku mukulembeze waggulu, atuula n'atebeekera n'abanga alinga kabaka, kyayagala okukola kyakola. Kati buli afunawo akafo konna wansi awo, naye yenkola ye gy'akola n'anyigiriza. Twega buli omu alina w'anyigiriza w'atudde. Kati anyigirizibwa okuva eri waggulu, naye kasaba muteerawo ka ofiisi wali naye n'afuna b'anyigiriza, nabo n'abanyigiriza. Obasanga ku airport, obasanga mu bitongole byonna ebya gavumenti, bonna nga alinga kabaka yafunyeyo akabanja ke, kati naye alina b'anyigiriza. Kati ate n'abo b'anyigiriza, naye omu bw'afunayo bw'akwata, naye nga naye afunayo b'anyigiriza. Kati okunyigiriza ne kuva waggulu ne kutuukira ddala wansi. Kati waliwo sisitimu ey'okunyigiriza. Kakati twagala okusooka okugyawo oli nannyini kunyigiriza waggulu. Abantu kuba oli waggulu bw'abanga muntu awuliriza abantu, mutegeevu, takola, ogenda okulanga n'abana abali wansi batandise okuba nga tebanyigiriza abantu mu mbeera eyo. Mwebale nnyo. Uganda Human Rights Commission abagambye nti bano abakaaba abantu bano bebasibya mu makomera nti baagaye tukaabya akajanja nti tubiteekamu byabufuzi. Naye nze Uganda Human Rights Commission gye mmanyi, bamanyi human right emu yokka, Bisiyaga. Bagambe ku Bisiyaga bajja kuvaayo bakole gye bajja ssente, naye bagambe nti waliwo baasibye wano oba biki, ojja kulya nga basirise. Kati yo human right gye bamanyi eri emu yokka yakulya Bisiyaga. Kale abaali agadde okungubaga naffe ensonga bazimanyi, okutulugunyizibwa kw'abantu, obululu obubbibwa, abantu bino bye mwogerako bino abantu bonna abatulugunyizibwa ku airport n'ebitongole ebirala ebya gavumenti, emisolo egifuuse emisolo egijja abantu mu bizinesi ne ziggalawo naye nga bo abawoza b'emisolo bo tebafaayo, ettaka. Ate ekyo kikulu nnyo, omuntu okuba nga tasobola kubeera na bukakafu nti ettaka lirye, newankubadde alina ebiwandiiko byonna ebiryogerako, kubanga omunene yenna bw'aba alyagala bakwata ne bakukasuka eri. Waliwo omu bakwata okeera ku makya n'osamba omulambo mu gundi yo, n'osanga omulambo mu compound yo, waliwo mirambo 18 naye ne bakukwata nti wassa abantu. Naye nga wageze ne weebaka bulungi n'olaba omupiira gwo gwasirule maniyo okeera kumaja n'osanga ng'olimu si emirambo gijjudde awo mukundiyo olaba nga poliisi ezze kati awo nga awo ng'obakuyimbula compound yo efuuse limbo so kati ebintu ebiringa ebyo kati ebyokunguba babimanyi bannayuganda tebeetaaga kubajjukiza ebintu byetukungubagira babimanyi bulungi nnyo babiyitamu ffenna tubiyitamu ebyokusoma education standards wansi kati ate bageze sijagenda kale mwebale jjo